That seems to be a hard drive that's failing. So last night, for some reason, this thing started to make weird noises. And I don't know if you can hear this. It's pretty loud, actually. That doesn't sound very good. So yeah, I was just kind of doing this during the whole night, and I heard it and checked it out at like 3 a.m. And then yeah, so this morning I went in here again, and yep, still doing it. So it's one of the drives in my computer here in the NAS is just having a hard time. I'm gonna log into the control panel for TrueNAS Scale. There should be a health check there, and it should tell me which drive is failing and all that. So yeah, let's go upstairs and check that out. All right, let's take a look at what's going on exactly in my NAS. So we're gonna log into the portal here. Okay, right off the hop I can tell if I look at my storage here, pool status is unhealthy and I have errors on one disk. So if I click on the reports here, I can see that drive A is writing and reading. Drive B is pretty much dead. There's a couple of reads here at the very end, but other than that, it's not really doing anything. Drive C is writing and reading, so that's good. And then we've got temperatures, and then we've got drive D, which is also writing and reading. So this is most likely the culprit, since there's no traffic going in or out, pretty much. So if we go to storage and we wait until it's loaded, pretty slow. Okay, finally loaded. So if we go to the topology here and we click to manage devices and we expand our RAID Z1, then I can see in a big red square, drive B is faulted, 88 errors, 3 read errors, 85 write errors. You've heard the sound, it does not sound good. So that thing is just a ticking time bomb by now. Could go any minute now. Technically, I could just throw a 2 terabyte drive in here and it will rebuild the array and continue working. But a 2 terabyte drive is almost the same dollar amount as a 4 terabyte drive. So I'll be upgrading my drives to 4 terabytes actually. And I will take you through the entire process of building your own NAS at home. I'll start from scratch, build a new TrueNAS scale so you can follow along and create your own in your network so you can use it at home for your files. So let's jump into that. Okay, so remember when I first set up when I reinstalled VMware ESXi 8 on this station right here? That was actually my virtual environment which hosted my TrueNAS and Windows server and everything. I actually got a hold of another computer and funny enough, it's the identical machine. I thought to myself, you know, it's nice having one machine that does everything, but it's also not nice because it's one point of failure. So I wanted to have a dedicated NAS separate from a virtual machine server. I was looking at actual NAS bays and stuff like that. Found a couple of used ones as well, but they're quite pricey, and I wasn't planning on spending that much because I already had a system that worked for me. I just needed to replace a couple of drives. I ended up finding the exact same machine, so I'm going to be separating my VMware host, which will be this machine, and my NAS will be this machine here. I'm still waiting on the drives. Since one of them was toast, I decided to get a whole new set of 4 terabyte drives, W-Red. So I snatched 3 of those and we'll have them in there. Let's fire this thing up and get TrueNAS Scale installed on here.
Look what we got here. Ready to build a NAS. Okay, let's get TrueNAS Scale installed on this machine here. I've just got my Ventoy stick in there already and booted into the boot menu. So let's pick, I've got several different versions. Let's go with the latest version, obviously. And boot in normal mode. All right. Start TrueNAS Scale installation. Oh. Load kernel module, no entry for device mapper found. Is device mapper driver missing from kernel? That, Mr. Kernel, is a good question. Gotta communicate with the kernel device mapper driver. Command failed. Okay. I'm not sure what this all means. It sounds to me like it's missing a driver in the kernel. It doesn't know what to do with a certain type of hardware. How do I get out of this? Let's try the good old exit. Oh. Did something. End kernel panic. Not syncing. Attempt to kill init. I can't type anything in anymore. Yeah, I'm not too sure what exactly that means. Maybe maybe someone can explain in the comments. Yeah, it's totally frozen up. So I'm gonna force a reboot on this thing. Just hold the power button down. There we go. What if we try the slightly older version? ACPI error, no handler. Oh, okay. Hey, that had the same error on the screen if I recall correctly, but it still continued. So I'm not sure. This one seems to work, so we'll go with that. All right, so you just want to hit install or upgrade, and there you go. There's my 4 terabyte drives, and I want to install TrueNAS on an NVMe, and I press space to select it and hit OK. Hit enter for OK. This will erase all partitions. Good. Can't use for sharing data. Installing on SATA, SAS or NVMe flash media is recommended. Okay, USB flash sticks are discouraged. Proceed with installation, please. Administrative user, admin, root user, not recommended. Configure using web UI. Yeah, we'll just do admin. Punch in a good password. Oh. What's this? Doesn't match. Okay. Create a 16 US partition, boot devices. Sure. Success. Wonderful. It's extracting. Okay. So we'll just let it do its thing. Okay, the TrueNAS installation on NVMe 0 and 1 succeeded. Please reboot and remove the installation media. That sounds great. Okay. And we will reboot the system. And unplug the USB stick. Oh, no, that's tiny. I can barely see that on the screen. Okay, we just want to run TrueNAS Scale. Okay, now we're finally on the back-end console. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is we'll need to give this thing an IP address on a network so that we can log on to the management web interface. So let's go to 1. Aha. Oh man, that is hard to see. I hope that's visible on the screen. It's kind of tough to see even for in person. Okay, so ENP3 would be the external, the PCI card with the 4 network ports on it, and ENO1 I think is the onboard. So I want to edit this one. IPv4 DHCP, no. Aliases. So this is where we enter the IP address. So we're going to punch in 10.21.99.4. Please specify my IP address in the CIDR notation. Oh. /24. Okay. Okay, you have pending network interface changes. Press A to apply them. Okay, that's applied. And network configuration. Host name, TrueNAS. Domain, local. IPv4 gateway. That will be 10.21.99.1. Name server. Oh, name server. I guess this would be a DNS server. I don't have an internal DNS server. I'm just gonna put a public DNS server in here. Let's use 1.1.1.3. And as a backup, we can do 8.8.8.8. Oops. Save that. Oh, error. Global configuration update. Every gateway is unreachable. Okay. Because it's sitting on my table and I don't have it connected via the network. Okay. Then I guess we'll have to fix that once we're in the web portal. That's fine. So that should be good. I can now plug the station into my network, and we should be able to get onto the web interface and configure the rest of the things in there. Okay, so NAS box is plugged in, but we have to actually go into the switch yet because the port that it's plugged into currently is not on the right VLAN. It's one untagged, which I don't want to use. I have a specific VLAN for management, and that I want to use. So we'll go in and reconfigure the port on the switch. And for that, I will pull up a new browser, and we'll go to my switch 1021.99.2. And it's gonna be admin. Okay, VLAN management. Okay, let's take a look at the port VLAN membership. Okay, so the NAS is plugged into port 22, which is one untagged. Okay, let's make it join a VLAN, and we want 99. Oh, messed that up already. 99, and we'll have to switch to untagged. Click it here, apply, success. Okay. Okay, now we can see that port is 99 untagged, and can I switch it to, no, I can't do that from here. So I just have to go back to interface settings, go to port 22, edit, and I would like to set it as an access port. And we got a success message. Good. Now let's not forget our super duper safe running configuration to startup configuration. Correct. Apply. Okay. And we're done. Great. Okay. So the NAS we set to 1021.99.4. And now that the port is tagged with, the port is untagged 99, and it's an access port, that's the only ID it carries. There's nothing else on it, no other tags, it's just 99. So we should be able to get to this. Yep. Looks like we hit something, and here's our console. So let's log in. Great. We got 16 gigs of RAM. Our CPU is pretty much doing nothing because I haven't actually configured anything. What we want to do is we want to go to storage, and we want to create a pool. We will call this pool the Linden House pool. I think we want to go with a RAID Z1, which gives me a total of 7.27 terabytes with 3 drives
So if one drive fails, I'll be fine as long as I go and replace the drive and it'll rebuild the array and everything will be good again. So I can use one, I can lose one drive. Okay, 3 number of VDEVs. Yeah, I only want one VDEV. Okay. Log is optional. I'm gonna skip this one for now. Spare. I don't have a spare. If I had another disk and I would use this, I could have a hot spare that in case of a failure of one drive, so out of the 3, if one would fail, the 4th one would automatically be swapped in and would start rebuilding the array. That's why it's called hot swap, because it's ready to go. It's there and it would just be activated. Cache, if I had another NVMe drive that I had installed in the system, I could use it as cache to make read and write faster. It would use the cache as first fast read and write operations and then load that off to the disks. Metadata is also optional. Deduplication. Yeah, you can go crazy here. There's a lot of options here. Since this is just a simple home setup, I just want a RAID Z1. Nothing crazy, nothing fancy. Just something, just a network storage that I can store my files on and have some redundancy, right? And now all we want to do is create pool. The contents of all added disks will be erased. Yep, that's fine by me. Woohoo! Here's our pool. Okay, so we can see one RAID Z1, 3 wide, 3.64 terabytes. We've got 7 terabytes worth of storage, which is awesome. Health looks good. That's great. Disk health. We got, you know, green check marks. Obviously, they're brand new drives, but I mean, even brand new drives there's a chance of failure. Some come dead on arrival, so it's always good to make sure they're all good. Okay, so that looks good. Next, we want to go to data sets. So here we have a Linden House IT. To create an SMB share, which is what Windows uses to access files, we'll need to go to add dataset, and we've already got the parent path as Linden House. That's our pool. And then we'll call this storage. And we want this to be an SMB. Okay, then we're just gonna go ahead and click save. So now that we've created this storage data set, you would think that we would want to continue into the shares to set up our shared folder, but we actually need to go and create the user first that has access to this. So we'll go to create credentials, local users, and we will want to go to add, create a user. We'll call this Linden Shares. Make the username the same. Pretty much the only setting we want to watch out for here is to have Samba authentication, which gives us the ability to use SMB shares. And we're going to use this account to authenticate and be able to access this volume, this shared drive. So we'll hit, okay, then we'll just create a new group, primary group. That's fine. Okay, so now we've got a Linden Shares user here. So now we go back to the storage and we want to actually go in now and edit the permissions on this folder. So what I want to do is I want to add the user that I just created, Linden Shares, and I want to allow, and I want the basic permissions to, I want to give it full control so that I can do whatever I want. Since this is just my home share. This is going to be fine for my case. We'll leave everything in basic, inherit, okay. And then we want to save the access control list. And now we can see the user Linden shares is in here. And it has allow full control access on this storage set. Now we can go into the shares and we can add and navigate to the storage, to our folder that we want to share. We're going to leave this as default share parameters, give it a description. We'll enable it. Just double check everything looks good. Yep, that's fine. And we'll save it. Okay, and since this is the first entry in the SMB service, which you can see up here is stopped, it's not actually running yet. It's asking us to start the service so that we can actually have access to this folder. So obviously we want to press start. Service is running and will auto start after I didn't read the rest. Okay, so now we know that this path is where we should find it. So if I pull up my Windows Explorer and I want to go to 10.21.99.4 and type in Linden House /storage, I get a prompt for authentication, and this is where I have to enter the username and password for the user that we set up before. So Linden shares, and then password. Oh, did I mess up the username? So I just had the path wrong. It's if I just go to 10.21.99.4 storage, and now I have access to this folder, and I should be able to make a folder in here called test. Wonderful. I can now I have a test folder in here. Cool. I'll delete that. Now we have a basic shared folder set up, and as long as I enter those user credentials on someone else's computer when they want to access the share, they'll get to it. Now we have a few features that we might want to enable just to have peace of mind. In the data protection section, we have a scrub task that's automatically configured. Highly recommend to leave this turned on. We have periodic snapshots, which is also a good thing to have turned on. If we had, in this case, if we had multiple different data sets, we could have different sets take different snapshots at different times. In my case, I just have one data set, so I'm gonna configure it for the storage one. Snapshot lifetime 2. I'm guessing this is days. Define the length of time to retain the snapshot on the system. After the time expires, the snapshot is removed. Okay, so it keeps it for weeks. 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, it deletes the snapshot. I want to do weekly snapshots, and then I want to keep these snapshots for 4 weeks. I will end up having 4 snapshots stored on the device before it deletes the last one and then creates a new one. Okay, so now we've configured a snapshot. So if something should happen, if I delete a file or whatever, and I need it back, I have 4 weeks of snapshots, which means I can go back in time, and that way I can recover whatever files I deleted by accident or I need back. Also, something that you use replication tasks. You can have a complete copy taken onto a different media, a different server. I don't have that, so I won't configure that. You can do cloud sync. I don't have that either yet, maybe in the future. rsync, don't have that either. But what I will do is a periodic smart test, which is a drive scanning feature. So it scans the drives for their health. It checks how they're doing. Everything looks good, which I want to do on all disks. And we have several options. I just want a short one is good for me. Description, short smart, there you go. Smart test, I guess, not check. Short smart test. We'll do it weekly as well. Sundays at 000. I'll want to save that. And now that's scheduled. Cool. That's basically how you set up a basic file share on your network. As you can see, if we go back to the storage location, I can get to it. And if I wanted to, I can go and map this drive. As you can see, I previously had one stored here. I forgot to unmap it before I redid this. And now Explorer froze. So I'll go up to the 3 dots and map a network drive. I want to use letter Z and / 10.21.99.4 storage, reconnected sign in. Yep, I want to do that. Finish, and there it goes, and it popped up. There we go. And if I go back to this PC, I can see storage and the server, drive Z, and I got 7 terabytes in here. And now I'm free to do whatever I like. If you followed along, congratulations. Now you have a share on your network that you can use for file storage. You can do so much more, but this is the basic file share setup in TrueNAS Scale. Thanks for checking in. I hope you learned something, and I will see you in the next video.